Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. Welcome back to my home garden in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. I hope all of you are staying safe and are doing well. August is finally here. It's not only hot, humid, we're experiencing periods of drought. Many of you, my fellow home gardeners, are also experiencing monsoon rains as well as thunderstorms. Our home gardens are taking their biggest hit of the year right now in the month of August. But August is also considered to be the bridge month as well. Why? Because August is the transition month, when gardeners transition from their beautiful summer gardens to their fall gardens. We can't just sit there and let our gardens be the way they are. We must act. We must actively do things to help our garden transition safely and healthy from summer into fall seasons. And in today's video, I'm going to cover not one, not five, but 10 must-do August gardening tasks. So for those of you looking for that online gardening channel, which offers tips, tricks, easy, yet proven gardening advice to take your home garden to that next level, don't go anywhere, guys. Stick around with me today. Start with going below this video and clicking the subscribe button. If you enjoy the content of my videos and want YouTube to send you notifications every single time I'll upload a new video, don't forget to click the bell icon below as well. Now come with me. Let's get gardening. That first must-do August gardening task is to protect our crops from animals, critters, as well as pests. In the month of August is when our crops, our fruits, are finally starting to ripen. And that ripening process is exactly what attracts unwanted critters, pests, and animals to our home garden. Right over here in these raised garden beds, I have beautiful cantaloupes growing. Just take a look at how large these beautiful fruits are getting. You might also notice that I have these organza bags on top of the fruits, on top of my cantaloupes. Why, you might ask? Let me show you why. Just a few days ago, all of my cantaloupes were doing absolutely fine. Were not only growing, but ripening as well. Then overnight, something happened. Some critter or animal got into my home garden and caused damage to my growing cantaloupes. Just take a look at that huge, unsightly bite mark. You can also see pieces of the cantaloupe that were chewed off right here in the soil inside this raised bed. I, as a home gardener, cannot afford to lose my harvest, my crops. Whatever animal got in, it could have been a squirrel, raccoon, wild rabbit. It could have also been a bird. It already destroyed one of my cantaloupes, but by all means, I will not allow them to do any more further damage, which is exactly why I went online on Amazon and ordered these beautiful, clear, green colored organza bags. And I put each of my ripening fruits inside these bags, and you could see how huge this particular fruit is getting. These beautiful organza bags were not only affordable, they arrived overnight from Amazon. These bags come in various sizes depending on what fruit, what crop you're trying to protect. Birds as well as critters. So if you're trying to protect something as small as a fig, of course you would get a smaller size organza bag. I purchased these to protect my watermelons as well as my cantaloupes. And we all know that watermelons and cantaloupes can get quite large in sizing. They also come with these hefty strings, which you can use to tighten the bags around the fruit. Why small insects cannot get through? Because look how tiny the mesh is. There's no way, there's no holes or gaps in it. There's no way a single small insect like an ant or even a slug can get through this. Also, Why are they green in color? To protect your crops from birds. Birds have vision like no other animal out there. Green color camouflages the coloring of the fruit, making your fruit still seem unripened. Most animals, critters, and birds will only come to pluck away at your fruit when it is starting to ripen, when it's starting to get sweet and starting to change color. So if your fruit remains camouflaged, still seems to look green in color, birds will not be interested at pecking in it. Let me show you how hefty these bags are. My cantaloupe remains on the ground. However, it is firmly tied right on the top. You could see that the melon is still growing, yet there's still plenty of room left inside this organza bag. Now, if your melons are still growing, they're still ripening, they're green in color, and you want to protect them against slugs, against ants, against any critter that lives on top of the soil surface. What you can do first is simply elevate your crops above the soil surface. Also, you don't want the moisture in the soil to start rotting your fruits away. These I also picked up from Amazon. They don't rust, they don't rot, and they can be used year after year. All you have to do is place them into the ground, into the soil like this, and place the fruit, the ripening fruit or the growing fruit, right on top of them. And you could see that there's quite a lot of space left between the soil surface as well as your fruit. I'm going to link both of these products for those of you who are interested in the description section below. Again, they are very affordable, they are reusable, and they arrive in as little as 24 hours right to your home, so you don't have to go absolutely anywhere. Even though I have already wrapped up and protected majority of the cantaloupes using these beautiful organza bags right over here, you could see as an example, I just noticed that this beautiful plant is producing more cantaloupes for me, which you could see right over here. This one is still relatively small, yet this one is getting to be relatively large. So I can't afford to have any animal or insect damage this fruit. So I'm going to use yet another organza bag and wrap up this beautiful growing cantaloupe. Just be very delicate. Make sure you don't rip the fruit off of the vine. So I basically place the fruit inside the bag and I pull on these strings to tighten the bag. I want to make sure that there's no access from the top. I straighten the bag to give it room to grow and fill up the bag. Now I know that this fruit is 100% safe and secure. A second crucial gardening task for the month of August is to remove or pick up any damaged, cracked, or fallen fruit. In the month of August is when our fruit is most susceptible to damage from either pests, insects, or environmental changes. During the month of August is when we go through periods of hot heat, humidity, and drought, very quickly to periods of heavy rain and thunderstorms. These environmental fluctuations is what not only starts to attract pests and insects, it acts as a gateway to allow pests and insects to enter our home garden, which is what you're seeing right over here on this beautiful tomato fruit. It's quite large. It's ripened, but look at this huge hole, the bite mark. These cherry tomatoes have visible cracks on the surface as well. If you're starting to see cracks like this is clearly from environmental damage, from very sudden and drastic fluctuations with the weather patterns in the area in which you live. Make sure that you walk through your home garden multiple times a day and take a closer look at all of the fruits on your plants. If you do happen to see even a single fruit which is cracked, split, or damaged, make sure that you immediately take that fruit off of the vine. Why? Because the juices, the fragrance In these cracks is what attracts unwanted insects and pests, such as gnats, tomato hornworms, even caterpillars. Make sure that you get these tomatoes, these damaged tomatoes, as far away from the mother plant as possible. Also, please, if you have any tomato that's on the tomato vine that is at least 30 to 50% already ripened, such as these tomatoes right over here. You could see how they're starting to change color from green to yellow. I'm going to pick this tomato right now. Why? Because this tomato is past the breaker stage. So there's absolutely no need to keep this tomato on the vine to continue ripening. After your tomato fruit enters the breaker phase, it's no longer getting absolutely any nutrients from the mother plant. Actually, if you let your tomatoes ripen on the vine, you're risking further damage to your tomato fruits. I have a video on my gardening channel, Gardening Cold Spring Harbor, where I talk about exactly when is the perfect time to harvest your beautiful tomato fruits and why it will be a huge mistake for you to leave your tomato fruits on the vine and let them fully ripen on the mother plant. So for those of you who are interested in seeing the video, I'm going to link it up above so you could check it out as well. That next August must-do gardening task is to succession plant warm season crops such as our cucumbers, even our zucchini. We still have plenty of time until our first anticipated frost date to plant yet another round of these beautiful, delicious crops. The cucumbers or even zucchini, which we planted in the month of March, April, or May, are now tired, beat, and exhausted from pest damage, even environmental damage, such as fungal disease on the foliage. These plants might still be producing some blooms, limited blooms. They might still be producing small-sized cucumbers that you see right over here. But these plants are done. Plants like cucumbers or zucchini are only productive for about 60 to 90 days from transplant time. After that, your plant starts to succumb and to slowly die off. Now is the perfect time to plant the next round of cucumbers or summer zucchini plants. Just make sure the variety which you choose, and it will clearly state that on the packet, will have no more than about 80 days from sowing to harvest. You want to make sure that you're able to harvest your cucumbers or zucchini in about 30 to 45 days from the time you sow them. And now, with this hot, warm weather, warm soil, your seeds will germinate in as little as 3 to 4 days. And you'll be ready to harvest 30 to 45 days. August is the perfect time to harvest and to save the seeds from your favorite beautiful annual flowers. Great example of such a flower is our marigolds right over here. Just make sure that you allow the flower to fully die off and completely dry up on the mother plant, which is when you would come in with scissors or pruning shears and cut off that spent bloom. Now that you cut off the spent bloom, you could see the pocket right below the bloom. So there is going to be a thicker sized pocket between the stem and the spent bloom. This is exactly where the seeds are. Take a look at all those seeds right inside the pocket. All you have to do is collect them, get them out of this pocket, place them in a paper bag, an envelope, or even a Ziploc bag. Of course, label what these are and save them in a dark, cooler place. Come next growing season, all you have to do is sprinkle them on top of the soil, water them, and watch them grow. And you can save yourself so much money instead of going to a garden center or even ordering your annual flower seeds online. Next gardening task for the month of August, which we cannot afford to skip by all means, is fertilizing our container planted flowers. Why? Because right now during the month of August is when these plants or these flowers are taking a very hard beating, whether it's from the humidity, heat, drought, maybe even torrential rainfalls. Any of those can take a toll on our plants. You could see this large container right over here, which I planted with proven winter annuals, such as these beautiful supertunias. Many of them are still looking healthy and on great bloom. Yet the torrential rains, which we had last week from Storm Debbie, took a toll on this container plants. Take a look at all these flowers, which are starting to slowly dry up and die off. Right now is the perfect time to give your container plants that needed necessary boost. Not only is it going to help the foliage, the leaves of your flowers to stay dark green in color, it's also going to strengthen that root system, that existing root system, and it's going to encourage new flower bud production as well, which is exactly what you want. It's not yet time to plant fall containers, so you want to extend the life cycle of your existing summer containers, and fertilizing is the way to do this. Right now, the great way to give that quick yet very strong fertilization boost is to use a water-soluble fertilizer. This is by Jack's All-Purpose. You can see that NPK ratio is quite large, 20 to 20 to 20. Nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus is what NPK stands for. All you have to do is get a scoop of the fertilizer, like this, add it to 1 gallon sized watering can right into the water, because again, this is a water soluble fertilizer. You mix it thoroughly, you make sure that it dilutes, and you water your containers using this mixture. You water thoroughly because you want to make sure that it goes at least a foot deep and penetrates the root system. Don't forget that August is that bridge month, that transition month, which helps us home gardeners say goodbye to our summer gardens and say hello to the fall gardens. August is hot, humid, wet, and brutal. We must make sure that all of the plants in our home garden, all the crops in our home garden get plenty of moisture and plenty of hydration. When watering trees, make sure you water them at least 3 feet deep. If you're watering your shrubs, such as your hydrangeas, azaleas, even boxwoods or evergreens, make sure you water those shrubs 2 feet deep. If you're watering annuals, vegetables, fruits, anything in your vegetable summer garden, even your herbs, make sure that you water them 1 foot deep. Check for moisture content in the soil on daily basis and adjust the watering accordingly. That 9th must-do gardening task for the month of August is to evaluate and to keep a close eye on our rose plants. Whether you're growing rose shrubs, rose trees, or even climbing roses, August is the month that hits our rose shrubs brutally. In the month of August, we must always not only give our roses that little fertilization boost that they need so dearly right now, we should also keep an eye for damaged, diseased foliage. Insects, pests, humidity, heat, excessive rain can all cause damage to our rose plants. If you see any impacted, damaged foliage, try to cut it off and throw it out. Never compost impacted, diseased foliage on your rose shrubs. If you see any spent blooms like this one right over here, make sure you cut it off, you dead-headed. Why? It's going to keep your plant not only healthier, it's going to encourage your rose plant to produce more new flower buds, hence more flower blooms for you. I have various videos on my gardening channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor, specifically dedicated to planting growing and caring for roses. I have a video where I go into great depth about how you, my fellow home gardeners, can tell if your rose plant is diseased, dead, or dying. I also have a video which clearly goes into great detail about the identification and treatment of rose foliar diseases. I also have a video where I show you exactly when and how to not only deadhead roses for continuous summer bloom. I also have multiple videos showing you when and how to correctly prune your rose shrubs, your rose trees, as well as your climbing rose, not only for their health, but also to ensure that you keep them in the right size, right shape, and to make sure that they come back for you and bloom vigorously for you years and years to come. So for those of you who are interested, check those videos out as well. At last, 10th, but definitely not least, gardening task for the month of August is to stay on top of deadheading our summer blooming perennials, such as this beautiful black-eyed Susan that I have growing right over here. Why should you deadhead your summer blooming perennials? Because that's going to encourage continuous blooms all the way into mid to late fall seasons. This is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here today in my home garden in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. I truly and sincerely hope that you guys found this video to be useful, helpful, and informative. If so, don't be shy, guys. It's super easy for you to do, yet it's super pleasing and rewarding to me. Show me that support by clicking thumbs up below. Leave your comments in a comment section as well. Lately, many more of you have been writing to me, sharing your exciting gardening experiences with me, asking me for gardening tips and gardening advice, and I truly appreciate each and every single one of you. I take the time to read each and every single one of your comments and take the time to respond to each and every single one of you. For those of you who haven't yet subscribed to my gardening channel, Gardening Cold Spring Harbor, please don't wait any longer, guys. Do so today. It's super easy. Go below this video and click the subscribe button. If you want to get notifications from YouTube every time I'll upload a new garden video, click the bell icon as well. Stay healthy, happy, be well, each and every single one of you guys, and happy gardening. And I'll see you again in my new upcoming garden videos. Bye, guys.